HGTV. I'm Rebecca. Welcome to my home. You want to take a look? Let's go. I'm Rebecca, also known as Rebecca DIY, coming to you from Gilbert, Arizona, in my house. This home has been a huge canvas for me to infuse all of my design ideas into one space. This is my dining room, and this is part of the heart of the home, not entirely, but we love to gather here for our fancier dinners, if you call that. We are a family of 5, so we thought it was really important to have a round table where we could all sit around and have great conversations and, of course, delicious food. Okay, so I believe that lighting can be the jewelry to a space, and when I saw this chandelier, it was one of those moments where I thought, like, I have to have it. And I love it because it looks vintage, but it wasn't. And all these little intricate pieces are actually coconut shells. So I thought that was super cool and organic. And I love how they mimic the look of a flower, but now you guys all know that it's actually coconut shells. This buffet originally lived in our first house, and I needed to find a way to incorporate it into our new space. And so it ended up here with a coat of fresh paint and some hardware updates. I also added these chinoiserie lamps just because I thought that bold pop of blue was just really dramatic and it added some interest. It just works. It's one of those things that just works. So we love to entertain, and when we moved into this house, this was just a plain niche. And I was like, what a great opportunity to create an interesting moment and have a spot for all my entertaining pieces. So I literally built this from the ground up. So I found some stock cabinets that fit perfectly into the space. I added these darling custom knobs. I then proceeded to find some butcher block that I cut to size, and then I laser cut all these hexagon tiles and then hand painted them. And I used a mix of acrylic paint and watered it down to give this sort of like softened effect. Then I moved on and built a shelf, found some really cool brackets, and then continued up with the wallpaper. And I had to finish off with this custom arch. So this was just a little project that I took on as one of my DIYs, and I framed it in, and this was how it turned out, and I absolutely love it. This is one of my favorite projects I've done in my house. Now that I've shown you a little bit of the inside, I think it's time to head outside. Well, this is my backyard, and you can't live in Arizona without a pool. So when we moved into this house, we knew we wanted something that was big enough for the kids to play in, but also small enough that it didn't take up the entire yard. Real estate is hard to come by in Arizona, so we made the most of this space. When we designed our backyard, we wanted different areas that everyone could enjoy. So we obviously have this seating area, but then we took it over to this lounge area so we can soak up a couple of the sun rays. Everyone loves a good outdoor dinner in Arizona during the cooler months, so we have this al fresco dining space that we can all enjoy, sit around, gather with our kids and our friends. And then every now and then we like to sit at the end of the pool, whether we're watching the kids or just enjoying the time ourselves in our little backyard oasis. I personally think the desert's beautiful, but a lot of people would argue that there's no color in the desert, so we wanted to bring as much color into our backyard as possible. I was very adamant about having bougainvilleas, although my husband will say they make the pool a little bit messy. I'm okay with that. We also wanted to keep some native plants to Arizona, so we added some succulents and some cactus to keep with the theme of Arizona. But as a juxtaposition to the cactus in the yard, we wanted to add these ladybank roses. I feel like there's an amazing way to flank both sides of the yard. It adds some privacy and it's amazing coverage. They only bloom like a short time out of the year, but when they bloom, we take full advantage of it. You should have seen them 2 weeks ago. They were so pretty. When designing the backyard, we thought it was really important to kind of marry the two spaces, but also break them up at the same time so it didn't appear as one big concrete slab. So we brought in these marble pavers in this rectilinear pattern, which breaks up the space and disconnects it, but then ties the elements together with the materials on the waterfall and the covered patio. Now let's take a look at my great room. This really is the heart of our home. You'll most likely find us here after a family meal or a day at the pool, but when we moved into this house, it was builder blank, and that had to change There were no cabinets, there was no fireplace, so I had to change that and DIY this whole thing. The first thing I did was I added these cabinets, and these are upper cabinets that you'd find in a kitchen, but they were completely bare wood. And I went with upper cabinets because of the depth. I didn't want it to intrude too much into the square footage. So this was the perfect depth. And then I found this faux marble laminate countertop that I cut to size. And this was a great budget option because I got the high-end look for a lot less. And then to dress up this basic cabinet front, I found hardware. But instead of finding cabinet hardware, I went with a door knocker and I spray painted them so that they matched the finish that I was looking for. So those flank either side of this fireplace, and this is probably one of my proudest DIY moments because there was no fireplace, and I had a company reach out to me and said, hey, we want to gift you a fireplace. And I was like, great. And I thought it was going to be this freestanding completed fireplace. However, it wasn't. It was just an insert. So I decided to grab some 2x4s, some drywall, some paint, and I built this fireplace to fit the insert. I ended up enclosing all of our internet components and stereo components in here, so I had to make the mantle removable so that everything was still accessible. This adds some really great charm to this space, and it's a great gathering point. But then to finish off the fireplace, I added this door casing because I liked the molding detail, and I just thought it gave a little bit of visual interest without being overwhelming. So my goal for this space was really to have it inviting and comfortable and cozy because I didn't want any room in this house to be off limits. I want every room to be designed with intention and feel like you're invited into the space. But this space is a little bit different than my traditional designing. I wanted to go a little bit moodier, which was a little bit out of my comfort zone. I'm known to use bright and light and happy and playful colors, but I wanted to make things a little bit more serious, but not too serious because I brought in this orchid color. It's something I had seen and was inspired by, and I wanted to see how it would play against these muted tones, but I felt like matching the intensity was really important. So I love this color because it kind of changes throughout the day. It doesn't always stay this purpley pink color. Sometimes it looks brown and neutral. So really just depending on the light, I love that about paint because it's always changing. Since this is the most used room in the house, comfort was everything. And every house hosts a little secret, and I'm about to expose my secret, but this is a recliner sofa and every section of this sofa reclines. So there's a spot for everybody. So sometimes people ask me like what my favorite thing about my house is, and like designers would never have like recliners in their house, but then you know, you start thinking about it and you're like, what if I had a recliner? It wouldn't be so bad, would it? In the event of a sold out crowd and we run out of space on the sofa, we invested in these two caramel colored velvet swivel chairs. So whether you're turning and facing a conversation somebody across me or we're watching the big game on TV, these were the perfect splurge for this space. You guys ready to see the game rooms? Here we go. Let's break down this space in the zones. Right here we have this little table and it seats two, but it's really quaint and cozy, so we can have an intimate game of any of the games that we love, a card game, but a lot of times I'll find my youngest sitting here doing homework. So I love that because it's a study moment too. Since this was a secondary space, I wanted to keep budget in mind. We spent some money downstairs on some of the architectural details, but I wanted to still bring interest up here, so I decided to line all the walls with wallpaper. Wallpaper was a way for me to add color and texture and pattern into the space without going crazy with too many details. So although this is sort of a second living space, it's a more intimate space where we gather as a family and watch movies, and I love that quality family time together. And when we get kicked out and sent to our bedroom, the boys can enjoy the space with their friends. So here's our family snack bar. This once used to be a closet when it housed baby toys and toddler toys, but the needs of our family has changed, and as the boys have grown up, so has our family. So I ripped out the closet, tore it down to the studs, and turned it into this snack bar. It's perfect for movie nights, game nights, and anytime the kids want to have friends over. Welcome to our primary bedroom. The primary bedroom is one of the most under-designed rooms in most everybody's home. And let me tell you, I didn't want that to be the case here. It's where we start our day and it's where we end our day. And although this room is quite large, I wanted it to feel cozy and inviting and sort of wrap us in a hug before we go to bed. So I picked a color that was fully saturated, not too light, not too dark, but really had a lot of depth to it. I love mixing patterns, so it was really important for the bed to be comfortable. And I wanted to incorporate a bunch of different patterns. And the big thing I always tell people with patterns is make sure you vary the scales and then they work together. And if it doesn't, you try something different. But I love collected looks of art. I also love mixing more expensive items with budget-friendly items. So although my bed was quite a splurge, I then scaled it back a little bit on the accessory pieces in our nightstands and in our dresser. The carved detailing was something that caught my eye, and it felt a little higher end and something that you might find at an antique store or at a roadside market. Would you believe me if I told you this room was actually bigger before? And it was completely overwhelming. So part of design is trying to solve a problem, and I came up with a solution. So let me show you the solution. This is my craft room. This is where all of the creativity comes to light. This space was originally part of the main bedroom, but it was so much space and not a place to work. So I came up with this space. I kept it really simple, had a wall built, found some vintage doors, and I knew exactly the space that they needed to land. So I broke this room up into a couple of zones. This is actually like my workspace, but it also serves as a craft table, so I can get some computer work done, print important documents, but I can also pull out my glue gun and all my crafting supplies and get rid of some of that nervous energy by crafting the day away. Over here, I needed some storage solutions and some ways to organize the craft spaces. So I figured like some things look really cute on display while other things need to be tucked away in this dresser. Now, this is just a traditional bedroom dresser that I repurposed for all of my craft supplies. So this craft space is really a reflection of who I am as a person, not necessarily as a designer. It kind of combines everything that I love, color, pattern, textures, and the funny thing is there were definitely some unintentional moments in this space. For example, this bold black and white wallpaper. This originally housed our bed right here, and I loved the backdrop. So when we relocated the bed into the other space, we kept it, and I think it works really, really well. I then decided to go a little off the rails with this chartreuse window trim. And again, one of those things, I love color, I love pattern, I love bold, and I accomplished all those things in this space. When I need to get inspired or really just get down to work, I love coming to this space. Although I love the entire house, this is all mine. And when I come in here, I'm inspired by the different patterns. I love pulling out a paint deck. I love strolling through my Sharpie markers for color inspiration, or just flipping through a book to kind of see what direction I'm going to take my design. So when I was little and I was in elementary school and I would go to the library, I would check out Make and Do books, which were the 80s version of craft books. And a couple years ago, a friend of mine happened to find some at Goodwill. I mean, Halloween costumes from the 80s. Like, who doesn't want to be a cardboard robot? Or a hot dog, or a carrot. Like, I love this. So I turn to these things as inspiration all the time, and I love to take old stuff and turn it new. So yeah, that's a little bit of history of how Rebecca became Rebecca DIY.
Oh, it's a good boy. It's a good boy, huh? Yeah. Okay, let me say goodbye.
Thank you guys so much for coming along on my house tour. I love being able to show all of the spaces that I created, plus share a few designer tips with you. Hope to see you soon. Bye.